Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks, and it's that time of year again, time to talk about some of the pros and cons of moving to Spain in 2024. So let's get stuck into it. Now, hopefully today there's going to be more pros than cons, or at least I think there's going to be more pros than cons, but you never know. And if you want some reasons why you shouldn't move to Spain, I've done videos about that too, so you can check those videos out if you like. But today, pros and cons of moving to Spain in 2024. Now, the first thing I'm going to say is that things are still pretty good in Spain, at least when you compare it to other countries in the world. Things are fairly positive, and that's a pro. Now, pro number two about moving to Spain is that it's a very diverse country, lots of different things, lots of different places around the country, and you can find something to suit your needs and tastes. For example, if you like hot weather, you can find parts of the country with hot weather, sun all year round. But if you prefer milder temperatures, you can also find that too. When it comes to cultural diversity, you'll find a lot of that as well. Different regions have different cultures, different languages, as we know. For example, in Catalonia, you can find the Catalan culture, Galicia, the Galician culture, Basque country, Basque culture, and different cultures around the country. So that's also a pro. Spain is also very diverse when it comes to cuisine. Lots of interesting and tasty regional and local dishes around the country. The cuisine differs from north to south and east to west, so that's something to keep in mind as well if you're a foodie like me. And Spain is also very diverse when it comes to geography. If you want long sandy beaches, you can find those. If you want snow-capped mountains where you can go skiing, you'll find those as well. You'll find desert conditions, you'll find semi-tropical conditions in the Canary Islands, for example. And if you want to enjoy a green Spain, you'll also find that as well in the north of the country. So when it comes to geographical diversity, Spain has it all. Now, when it comes to the economy, believe it or not, that can be considered a pro at the moment, because according to experts, Spain's economy is going quite well. To quote the Spanish Prime Minister, Spain's economy is moving along like a motorbike, believe it or not, as I said. Jobs are being created, albeit mainly in the hospitality sector, but nonetheless, jobs are being created, and that's positive for Spain. And unemployment is currently sitting around 11.5%, and that deserves a big thumbs up because Spain historically has had problems with high unemployment. So the Spanish economy is strong in 2024, and that's a pro. Now, another pro about moving to Spain in 2024 is that it's now easier to move to Spain than ever. Different visa options exist. For example, the new digital nomad visa that was introduced last year in 2023, I think it was. So that's an option now that didn't exist before. So fantastic for people that can work remotely. You're able to come to Spain now a lot easier than you could do before. For people living in the European Union, it's still easy to come to Spain. For people living in the States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the UK, countries outside the European Union, you're going to have to get a visa. So keep things like the digital nomad visa in mind. There's also a non-lucrative visa, which means that you can live in the country if you are not working. That could be an option as well. The golden visa option is still around, but I think it's going to be scrapped this year in 2024. So that might not be an option as of next year, but I'm sure that visa will be replaced with another similar type of visa because, let's be honest, Spain wants foreign investment still. So moving to Spain in 2024, as far as visas are concerned, more options around now than ever before. Now, another pro about moving to Spain in 2024 is the quality of life that you can experience in the country. In fact, Spain has some of the most livable cities in the world, and cities that always perform well in expat surveys. For example, Valencia, Malaga, other cities around the country do very, very well in these surveys because they have very high quality of life and people live very well in these cities. But if you don't want to live in a big city, there are plenty of medium-sized cities that also offer a fantastic quality of life, fantastic services, so keep that in mind as well. And if you don't want to live in a city at all, if you want to live in a small town or a village, that option is available too. In fact, if you move to rural parts of Spain where the population is decreasing, they might even give you some type of economic incentive to move there. So that's a pro too. Now, another pro about moving to Spain in 2024 is the high level of services that that are on offer in the country. For example, when it comes to transport and when it comes to healthcare, Spain has an outstanding public healthcare system and a fairly good private healthcare system too, so keep that in mind. And also transport options in Spain are very, very good. Not only when it comes to city transport in cities like Madrid, Barcelona, world-class public transport systems, and other cities in the country also have fantastic public transport systems, but getting around Spain is also very easy because there are many transport options available. For example, fast train. And the good news is that there's a lot of competition now when it comes to fast train services, so it's a lot cheaper to travel around the country. So getting around Spain, very easy to do, lots of options available, and healthcare, as I said, very, very high quality, and that's a definite pro. Now, if you come to live in Spain, you can't expect to find people to speak English, and that means that you're going to have to learn the local language, which of course is Spanish, and that can be a con for many people, but I consider that to be a pro. And the reason it's a pro for me is because learning a second language or even a third language opens you up to a whole new world. And let's be honest, nowadays it's never been easier to learn a foreign language, right? And ideally, when you learn a foreign language, you want to combine education with entertainment. The learning has to be fun, and my favorite way to do this is with LingoPie. What is LingoPie, I hear you asking? Well, it's an entertainment platform for language learners, packed full of features to help you learn in a fun way. And it's not like a traditional method where you have to find time to learn, because with LingoPie, learning fits in with your daily habits. For example, if you're sitting down having dinner and you want to watch one of your favorite TV series or movies and learn at the same time, LingoPie is fantastic because it's packed full of content like TV series, movies, and even music. You can even connect LingoPie to Netflix and watch all of your favorite series. How great is that? LingoPie has interactive subtitles, so if you don't know the meaning of a word, you simply click on it and that comes the definition. You also get personalized flashcards based on the words that you need to know. There are game quizzes, and you can also practice your pronunciation. So learn languages the fun way with LingoPie, and click the link below to start your free trial. All right, now I've spoken about some of the pros of moving to Spain in 2024, but what about some of the cons? Let's talk about some of those. And as I said, hopefully there's going to be less cons than pros this year in 2024, but we'll see. Now, the first con that I can think of about moving to Spain in 2024, the cost of living crisis. As it is cold, lots of things more expensive than they were a couple of years ago. For example, olive oil. As we know, olive oil in Spain, very, very expensive. The price has gone up close to 300%. That's right, 300%. So cost of living, one of the issues. There's also a housing crisis. So that's another con. Not a lot of housing available in Spain, especially when it comes to renting. So we can put that down as con number 2. However, the good news is that compared with some other countries in the world, the cost of living is still cheaper. For example, if I compare Spain with Australia, I reckon that Spain is still cheaper than Australia for a lot of things. So that is a pro. But in general, cost of living, especially if you're earning a Spanish salary, the cost of living in Spain is a bit tough at the moment. Now, another con when it comes to moving to Spain in 2024 is the political situation. I've spoken about this in other videos that I've done on the topic, but Spain is a basket case politically. Very divided, maybe not as divided as some countries in the world, but pretty divided nonetheless. One of the big issues in Spain, and what makes politics so complicated, is the autonomous community system and various autonomous communities that want to separate from Spain. So Spain is always spending money, wasting precious resources on things like this, when that money could go to better causes, in my opinion, of course. So another con, the political situation in Spain. Now, another con, in my opinion, is the anti-tourist movement, which is sweeping Spain at the moment. Lots of cities in Spain have this anti-tourist sentiment or anti-tourism sentiment. Some people are saying that it's caused by the housing crisis, but I think there's more to it than that. Lots of locals unhappy with the amount of tourists that are coming to Spain. And basically, when you look like I do, it's easy to be confused for a tourist. So that is something to keep in mind as well. However, what I will say is that it's an anti-tourism movement and not an anti-foreigner movement, if that makes sense. So that can be considered a pro, but a definite con is this anti-tourism movement that is sweeping Spain at the moment, because it's pretty ugly what's going on in some parts of the country. So a con there, I reckon. However, what I will say is that in general, the Spanish are very accepting of foreigners. Lots of foreign people living in Spain, and there's not a lot of xenophobia. There is a tourist backlash, as I said, but it doesn't really seem to affect foreigners in general, or at least that's been my perception over the last 25 years or so. Now, another con is obviously bureaucracy. Bureaucracy in Spain is very, very difficult indeed. However, I will say that it has improved over the years. If I compare it to 25 years ago, bureaucracy now is better, believe it or not, but it still can be a bit of a problem. For example, about a week ago, I had to renew my residency card. I had to go to a police station to do that. I checked all of the documents that I needed online beforehand, and when I got to the police station, I was told that I didn't have all of the correct documents. I said that I did. The person behind the counter said that I didn't, but luckily I was able to talk my way out of it, and I have to show that certificate when I go back to pick up my card. But that can be a huge problem here in Spain if you don't have all of the necessary documents, and that's why sometimes it's important to hire a lawyer or a gestor, one of these people that can do bureaucratic things in Spain for you, because normally they know exactly what documents you need. So sometimes it can be difficult to know exactly what documents you need when you are doing bureaucratic things in Spain, things involving red tape, and it can be frustrating. And I reckon that it is still a con of living in Spain, having to do bureaucratic things or red tape. But again, just my opinion. Now, on that note, I'm going to wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. If you have anything to add to the conversation today, the comment section is the place for you. If you have your own opinion on what some of the pros and cons of moving to Spain are, I'd love to hear them in that comment section. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.